Hey everybody, welcome back to J-Tech Videos, and today we're going to be going over an alignment on a heavy-duty Class 8 truck using the laser alignment system that we have here, Easy Line I think it's called. Before we even start on measuring anything, we're going to do a pre-alignment inspection. We're going to walk around, check the kingpin, bushings, cross-link, drag link, pitman arm. We're going to check tread depth, we're going to check tire pressure, airbags, all of that stuff. Because if any of that is not correct, any alignment proceedings you do after that is going to be wrong. So first off, and we also brought this vehicle in and unloaded the suspension. Basically, we coasted it in, driving straight, and we didn't use brakes or anything because that would put pressure on the suspension or driving system. All you want to do is have it nice and easy, level, no tension, no stress inside the system. So like I said, we're going to walk around, do a pre-alignment inspection. Like I went in, look inside here, make sure everything is there, kingpin is there, no loose U-bolts, display indicator is not worn out, the pitman arm isn't wobbly. Check the kingpin, make sure there is lubrication or no excess lubrication either. We're going to check the wear pattern, if there is any, which can tell you a lot. If there's too much toe, if too much camber. And making sure all the tire tread depth is within specifications, which would be 4/32 for a steer tire. Generally, you want about 100 to 110 psi in your tires. While we're down here, we're also going to check lug nuts, make sure there are no loose lug nuts. Any indications of rust or anything. Like I said, if there's anything wrong with the pre-alignment inspection, the first thing you do is correct the problems you found before you move on and do any alignment. So you never get that back on. Before I put that leveling bar on, I did check those lug nuts. Like I said, just walk around, check your tread depth, make sure the tires are good to each other. Checking our tire pressure. Checking also back here as well, it's not just the steer tires, it's the drive and intermediate axle tires. You check tire wear. While we're back here, once again, we're going to check for loose U-bolts. Make sure our torsion bar, our torque bar is there. It's not loose, there's no loose bolts. Our airbags, there's no dry rot. Anything of that nature. Same thing with the rear axle. Sure the treads are within each other. Dry rot, that the suspension system actually is up to operating pressure, about 100 psi. No loose connections. Again, torque bar is there. Sorry. Wear. Again, like I said, tire pressure, and if at any point it's under pressure, go ahead and air those up after I finish my pre-inspection. Airbags, loose U-bolt, and display indicators like before. Alright. It's pretty much the same all the way around. Check tread depth, check tire pressure, check for any visible signs of rust on any lug nuts, loose U-bolts, check reach in here and check, make sure the cross tube is mounted correctly, that it can't twist or move up and down. Kingpin and any loose U-bolts or U-bolt nuts. So now that we have all that correct, we're going to go ahead and start to measure our toe in and toe out on our steer. Alright, we had time constraints yesterday, so we're going to come back and we're going to continue where we left off. So yesterday we did our pre-alignment inspection. Same vehicle, we came in, we unloaded the vehicle, or the suspension unloaded, coasted to a nice stop, make sure there's no tension or stress on any components of the suspension. That includes the leaf springs, the steering arms, airbags in the back, and the leaf springs in the back. At any time when you come in and you tap the brakes or anything, you just put a load on the suspension because it causes the vehicle to dip down. So you'd have to back out and try again. So like I said, we're going to start here where we measure our toe. And all it is the angle of the tires facing in or out. You want a little bit of inward toe that helps the vehicle track straight on the road. So we have our easy line set up already, and we're measuring from center mark of this laser to the center mark of the other laser. And when you come over here to set this up, one thing you want to make sure is your level. It has a level spirit bubble level right there, and the other lasers do too, and you want to make sure that they're all level. Otherwise that might throw your measurements off. So like I said previously, we're going from center line to center line of that, the X in the middle basically, and measuring from over there to over here to get the front of the toe. And as you can see, there's a little bit of wind, so it's not going as accurate as it should be, but it looks like 105 and 5/8, and we're gonna set up in the back and measure that. All right, so we measured our front toe, and now, as you can see, we're measuring the back, going from center line to center line, and once again, a little bit of wind is messing up the measurements, but it looks around 105 and a half, or 105 and 9/16, which would give us about a 1/16 or an 1/8 inch toe in, which is exactly what we want. So as you can see, we measured, now getting cross measurement from the rear to the intermediate passenger side. Touch that, sorry. And right now it looks like we're getting 1/16 and 7/8, and we're gonna get the other cross measurement and compare the two. So we're getting our other measurement now, which would be from the driver intermediate axle hub to the passenger rear hub. And once again, we're making sure we're level and centered. These are self-aligning, but it does get affected by the wind, and we're looking right around 115 and 15/16, 7/8. So we're almost perfectly square between our intermediate axle and our rear axle. So like we just talked about, what we just did between the intermediate and rear axle was making sure that they were square with each other, and now I'm making sure that square with each other and the frame. I apologize. And now we're just checking the axle offset, which can vary from vehicle to vehicle depending on load conditions, road conditions, or anything like that. And we're just making sure that it's even on both the intermediate and rear. So all I do, take a piece of straight bar, set up against the tire. It's very simple, just measuring off the frame itself, not anything on the fifth wheel. Frame itself. And right now to the frame, to the inside of the bar, I'm getting a measurement of 31 and 5/16. So I just do that same procedure on the rear axle. And like I said before, part of the pre-alignment inspection, would be checking all the suspension components, the frame itself, making sure it's not cracked, warped, or anything. But on here, from frame to inside, I am getting a measurement of 31 3/16. So we did axle offset on that side, and basically we're just going to double check on this side, making sure that it's the same, that it isn't. I know we just did the cross measurement, but I'm making sure it isn't twisted in any way. Because the whole point of an alignment is having the steer axle, intermediate, and rear axle all tracking in the same direction. Because every measurement we're doing is going off the frame itself. So once again, going from the frame to the inside of the bar, I'm getting a measurement of 31 5/16. Measuring the same way. I dropped that, sorry about it. I'm going from frame to inside a bar. 31 5/16. So we're all good on that. Now we're going to go ahead and set it up to do a cross measurement just to check the rear. We know the rear axles, the intermediate and rear are square with each other and the frame. Now we're going to set up and do a cross measurement from the driver's side steer axle to the passenger intermediate. And we're making sure that these back frame, or the back axles, are square to the front axles. Get that set up real quick and be right back.
One, and you're on.
Alright, so we went ahead and set it up. And like I said, we're measuring the cross measurement between the steer axle and the intermediate axle. We already know that intermediate and rear are square with each other. We're making sure the two rear axles are square to the frame and the steer axle. So we have a measurement of 171 5/8, and we're going to go ahead and switch around the other way to measure that. We switched around to measure the driver's steer axle to the passenger intermediate, and once again the wind is messing with us. But I'm getting a measurement of 170. If it settles down, looks like 170 3/4. Which is the difference of 1/8 of an inch. So it's a little off, but it's well within tolerances. The tolerances vary between frame and revision, but in general, the Goodyear information put out by Goodyear that I saw said anything within 1/8 of an inch, as far as alignment and squareness, is acceptable. So, walk over the alignment of the Class 8 truck, and I want to thank you for your time. Bye.